The world seemed peaceful on the surface, but tension quietly grew between powerful nations. Behind diplomacy and speeches, mistrust, fear, and competition slowly pushed countries closer to a dangerous breaking point. Nations invested heavily in new weapons, cyber technology, and advanced military systems. Each country feared falling behind, creating a silent race for power that few ordinary people truly understood. Political conflicts increased across different regions. Small disputes over borders, resources, and influence began stacking together, forming a fragile situation that could explode at any moment. One region became especially unstable. Rival countries sent troops, ships, and aircraft nearby, each claiming control while refusing to back down. Diplomatic talks failed repeatedly. Leaders spoke of peace publicly, but privately prepared for conflict, increasing military presence and testing new weapons. A cyber attack suddenly shut down power grids in a major country. Cities went dark, communication systems failed, and panic quickly spread among millions of people. The attacked country blamed a rival nation. Without clear proof, anger and fear pushed leaders toward immediate retaliation. Military forces were placed on high alert. Missiles were prepared, and troops were moved closer to contested borders. Allies quickly declared their support. Old alliances activated almost automatically, pulling more nations into the conflict. What had started as a single crisis now became a global standoff between powerful military blocs ready to defend their interests. Then came the moment that changed everything. A military radar system detected what appeared to be incoming missiles. Alarms sounded instantly, and commanders were forced to decide within minutes whether the threat was real or a deadly mistake. Inside command centers, tension was overwhelming. Officers studied screens, trying to confirm the attack. Some believed it was a system error, while others insisted it was real. With time running out, hesitation itself became dangerous. Finally, a decision was made. Believing they were under attack, commanders ordered a retaliatory strike. Missiles were launched into the sky, carrying destructive power that could not be taken back. The opposing nation detected the launches almost immediately. Their systems confirmed incoming threats, and their leaders believed war had already begun. Without delay, they launched their own counterattack. Within minutes, the conflict spread across multiple countries. Military systems activated worldwide, and global communication networks struggled to keep up with the rapidly escalating situation. Sirens echoed through major cities as people rushed into shelters. Fear and confusion filled the streets. No one knew how far the conflict would go or how much destruction was about to unfold. As the first missiles traveled across the sky, there was no turning back. Defense systems activated, trying to intercept incoming strikes, but not all could be stopped. Leaders realized that what began as a possible mistake was now a real and unstoppable war spreading across multiple regions at once. Explosions lit up the night as the first impact struck military bases and strategic targets. Shockwaves traveled for miles, and the world watched in horror as conflict became reality. News spread instantly, but information was chaotic, incomplete, and often terrifyingly unclear. Governments rushed to respond, issuing emergency broadcasts and activating national defense plans. Citizens were told to stay inside, find shelter, and prepare for the worst, as uncertainty grew with every passing minute. Air forces took to the skies, naval fleets moved into position, and ground troops mobilized rapidly. Every branch of the military prepared for full-scale war, knowing that the conflict was no longer limited or controllable. Communication systems became overwhelmed. Networks failed under pressure, leaving many regions without reliable information. Confusion spread, making coordination between allies increasingly difficult at the worst possible moment. Cyber attacks intensified, targeting infrastructure, financial systems, and government operations. Entire cities lost power, and digital systems that controlled daily life suddenly stopped working, creating chaos far beyond the battlefield. Financial markets collapsed within hours. Banks shut down, currency values dropped, and global trade came to a halt. Economic stability vanished, leaving millions uncertain about their future. Supply chains broke apart quickly. Food, fuel, and essential goods became difficult to find. Panic buying began, and store shelves emptied faster than they could be restocked. In major cities, fear turned into panic. Crowds gathered, people searched for safety, and emergency services struggled to maintain order as tension spread through every street. Meanwhile, battles expanded across land, sea, and air. Multiple regions became active war zones at the same time, stretching military resources and increasing destruction across continents. Leaders attempted to communicate through emergency channels, but trust was already broken. Every message was questioned, every signal doubted, making peaceful resolution nearly impossible. False reports and misinformation spread rapidly online. People struggled to know what was real, increasing fear and confusion as rumors filled the information vacuum. Military commanders faced impossible decisions. Every action risked escalation, but inaction could lead to defeat. The pressure pushed systems and people to their limits. Refugees began fleeing conflict zones, creating massive humanitarian crises. Roads filled with people trying to escape danger, unsure where safety could be found. Hospitals became overwhelmed with injured civilians and soldiers. Medical supplies ran low, and doctors worked without rest as the scale of destruction increased. Entire regions lost access to clean water and electricity. Basic survival became a daily struggle as infrastructure collapsed under the pressure of war. International organizations attempted to intervene, calling for immediate ceasefire. But their influence was limited, and their voices were drowned out by the ongoing conflict. Alliances continued pulling more countries into the war. What began as a crisis between a few nations had now become a truly global conflict. Alliances continued pulling more countries into the war. What began as a crisis between a few nations had now become a truly global conflict. Leaders hesitated, knowing the next step could change humanity forever. But fear and pressure continued pushing decisions forward. Fighting intensified across multiple fronts. Each victory came with heavy losses, and no side gained a clear advantage. The environment suffered as well. People around the world realized how fragile peace had always been. What seemed stable could collapse in moments. Global leaders finally attempted serious negotiations. Secret meetings began as the world stood on the edge of disaster. But even during talks, fighting continued. Trust was broken too deeply for quick solutions. Every side feared betrayal. No one wanted to be the first to step back, risking weakness in front of their enemies. The conflict reached its peak. The world was closer than ever to total destruction. At the last moment, leaders began to understand the cost. The future of humanity was at stake. Emergency agreements were proposed to stop further escalation. Slowly, communication improved and small steps toward peace began. Fighting reduced in some regions, giving hope to millions. But damage had already been done, leaving deep scars across the world. Cities, economies, and lives were changed forever. The world would never be the same again. People began rebuilding what they had lost. The war showed how quickly humanity could fall into chaos when fear replaces trust. World War III would not begin with one moment, but with small decisions, fear, and misunderstanding that slowly pushed the world into disaster.